think people saw that loud and clear.
We're going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
Hit that like, everybody. We're about to get started.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
De-engineering. Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang.
We already have 100 messages according to the Restream chat thing, and it just even started. Hit the like, everybody. Share the show out. Let them know you're here. If we're on your socials, if you're on Facebook or whatever, you're watching on YouTube, post it over there. It helps really. You would not believe how many people tell me that they found me because somebody else recommended me on their page. So, I mean, you know what? I take that back. You probably would, because when have I ever done you dirty? All right, let's get started. Where's the? Hold on. Is this? Me? There we go. Hey, and it's up, and mic's on, and all that kind of stuff. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. It's Thursday, and we're doing our thing, and it's all right. And the final night of the DNC, Kamala's big speech, and Trump has been counter-programming. I mean, there's been scraggler people running around the DNC, which the only reason that I'm sorry that I didn't get to actually be there for the DNC was because I wanted to run into Mike Pillow. I had no idea he was going to actually make good on his shave his mustache and run around part. That looked like super fun. But I think Adam Mockler did a great job confronting him, although he tended to lose his cool a little bit. You gotta enjoy yourself a little more, Adam, when you're talking to him, because that's what will irritate Mike Pillow. If you start getting mad, he knows he's hitting bedrock, and you never give him the satisfaction. You're probably just dazzled by the smoothness of his upper lip. I understand that. It makes a lot of... Yes, Midas definitely got him. A couple of things right out of the gate. No early show tomorrow, and if I do a late show, it'll be very late, but I probably won't because I'm flying to Knoxville tomorrow, and then I'm picking up my bass player and driving to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, wherein I will try to fall asleep and then get up early and do sound check, radio, meet and greet, comedy show, Nerd Halen, exhaustion. So Saturday is and my Saturdays have been, my weekends have been pretty nuts over the last little bit. But the Monsters on the Mountain show that I'm doing on Saturday, like all the stuff that's in that it's a stack. I'm just saying, really. They're testing me. So tomorrow, no show, but everybody will be basking in the glow of the DNC. You won't miss me. I'm sure of it. But then I may, because my flight's a little bit later because we got to drive ahead of us. I may have time to do like an extra show on Saturday. I'm just not going to overlap with Boston Brian. I don't want to eat into his time at all. So if that happens, that's how I'll make it up to you. And that's it. Okay, a couple things. There's so much. There's fucking so much. I even saw take this one right here. The big thing I think tomorrow, allegedly, that's going to happen tomorrow is that RFK Jr. is going to drop out and endorse Trump. This is the big, this is the rumor that's running around. Okay. And apparently this was sort of brokered by Tucker Carlson and Don Jr., which is, if you needed any more proof that this will go far worse than anyone thought it would, the fact that these two assholes are involved, it just means they're gonna shit the bed something fierce. The other thing too is, can someone explain to me the fucking thumbnail thing? Obviously, look, I got 70K viewers. That's nothing to slouch at. I got a huge, gigantic, this is the greatest stream on the internet right now. If you don't believe me, check out this chat. See these people? All these people can't be wrong. This is the single greatest live stream in the history of live streams ever, forever. And I learned that it is because if you say it is, it's true, I guess. We live in that era, right? It's all ego. Just stomp the ego gas and it will automatically become true. And I want to thank the 16 million people who are in here early in the chat and the 3 billion that are waiting just outside to get in. And I'm sorry that there's not a lot of elbow room. But hey, I fill up the internet every time I'm on. So welcome. Thank you for being here, especially those. And I'll try and talk louder because some of you are in the back of the internet. And I wish the cameras would turn around. I wish the cameras would turn around and show everybody that's in the internet, but the fake news won't do it. So, but it is the greatest live stream ever. I have the Eddie Van Halen Award for greatest live stream. There's only one of these, and I've got it. And of course, the Jeff Goldblum Award for greatest live stream. It's, I won both contests. And then, of course, I'm like a lot of you know that that I, where is it? Yeah, that I also won the kidney.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Rumor has it. Anyways, hit the like, share out the show, etc., etc., etc. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Thank you, patrons, for making me able to do the show on the road to the extent that I can. Radio in and of itself is like, it's a fucking tooth pull every time I try to make it go off without a hitch. Although we've been pretty lucky. But then, being in Rob Glenn's actual space with his bulletproof internet I think it's lured me into a false sense of security. It's not good. I'm feeling too easy. Okay, now, real quick. This is the thumbnail thing I was going to talk about. Okay, because I obviously, you know what? I'm a victim of my own success. I don't need clickbait. I don't need it. I don't need to put like, oh my God, this might be my last blah, 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 to try and draw people. I don't need it. I don't fucking need it. I just stand on the quality of what I say and how right I am all the goddamn time. And then that's that. I don't have to. All right. Some people, though, have to rely on a lot of thumbnail action to get people to come by. And look, it works for them. But maybe this is what the algorithm requires to kick the bot farm into gear. And I'll give you an example. How about this? This, ladies and gentlemen, for those that you don't know, this is on the left. That's Rusty Trombone. That's apparently the face he makes when someone walks in on him sexually assaulting a woman, and it's not one of his buddies that will bar the door so she can't get out. At least those are the details of one of the cases against him right now. Also, you might notice that all three of these men have multiple valid sexual assault charges or accusations against them, including him, whose defense against did you sexually assault your babysitter when she was watching your children was, I'm no angel, I never said I was. That dude. Also, by the way, I don't know about Rusty Trombone. Both of these motherfuckers are on the Epstein flight logs. So, of course, if RFK is going to endorse someone, he's going to endorse the guy who said to Fox News, I'm not sure I would release the rest of the Epstein documents. That in and of itself, everybody wonders, when did Trump secure the RFK endorsement? I think during that interview. That's my guess. But anyways, I'm not going to do all of this because I don't have time for it and nobody needs this in their life. But this is Rapey McToolface over here talking to also Rapey McToolface about maybe Rapey McToolface over here is going to support this Rapey McToolface.
My driver's license is in New York. My car is registered in New York.
Oh, this fucking shit. Like, he posted this video about why he can't get on ballots because he lied on his residency stuff.
My law license is in New York. I pay income taxes in New York more than any other state.
This is Russell Brand reporting to you live from the middle of a DDoS attack. We are under cyber attack right now. This is a period where information is a valuable commodity. And even the apparent frivolity...
Oh, fuck off. No, you are not. It's an ad. Eat shit.
The establishment does not want that guy in power. What have
you know what? The establishment. Hey, asshole. 5% of the perceived electorate wants that guy may be in power or might just be saying it just to fuck with the people that are in power. Fuck the establishment. The public doesn't want that guy in power. The fucking public.
What do you say about Bobby Kennedy? He has been pretty open and vocal when it comes to his condemnation, say, of Big Pharma. You don't let me...
What? Sorry, condemnation of Big Pharma? No, he isn't. He avoided condemning Big Pharma. He wrote a book called The Real Anthony Fauci. He didn't write a book called The Real Pfizer. He didn't write a book called The Real Moderna. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you go the Pfizer, Moderna, fucking Johnson & Johnson, the three horses of the apocalypse? a vaccine sex novel, or whatever the fuck you'd call it. Why just attack the dude who runs the government agency? And by the way, do you think any of those companies only do shit in the United States? Like the FDA has to clear the drugs that Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson use in the United States, right? Right? That's the FDA, CDC, and the NIH are the ones that oversee it being released here. But do you think they only put out the drugs that they put out in the United States? You think they stop at our fucking borders? You think they don't put out drugs that are okay by other countries, or even in countries that don't have an FDA or an equivalent? What part does Anthony Fauci play in Johnson & Johnson experimenting with malaria drugs in other countries where they don't have rules about it? What part do they play in that at all? Yeah, Novavax. There's a bunch of companies. Right. Point is, he's not attacking Big Pharma. He's attacking one dude. Why is he attacking one dude? Because fuckwads like this have an audience full of people that'll buy a book where you attack Anthony Fauci, but the rest of them all get the shots their kids need for school to send them there because they don't want their kid to die of fucking whooping cough or polio, you tit.
Let me know in the comments and chat what you think about the...
Oh, by the way, this is outrage farming. This fucker does this every time. Let me know in the chat below. Say something in the chat. Apparently that works. I mean, I don't need it because literally the internet is full. I don't have any room for more viewers. But if you guys want to write something in the chat below on whatever site you're on, I'm sure, if the words will fit, if there's room for the words,
failings and fallibility of those two political individuals. But I will tell you this, the tyranny that you must fear most of all is the kind of technological feudalism that is being augured right now. And glance if you...
Motherfucker, you're live on 3 sites every day. He didn't lose his account on YouTube. He's still on. He's got a deal with Rumble. They dual post all this kind of shit. He's still on Twitter. I don't know if he has a Facebook page because I don't give a fuck, but I'm sure he could have one if he wanted one, or he still does. Right?
Will, if you dare, at the spectacle of the DNC, where greatest hits are being played, where hypocrisy is being relayed, where billionaires are being condemned, then trotted out and celebrated, all in a matter of moments.
Sorry, which billionaires are being trotted out? I mean, besides Oprah, I know. Is it really the fact that she was like a billionaire that you have a problem with? Anyways, this is a raging pile of shit.
Do you think the only way to derail this train is with a Bobby Kennedy-Trump alliance? Well, all of a sudden, it's part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's not gonna derail shit. Like, there's literally, like, the Trump voters that went to him because they didn't want to vote for Trump aren't going to go back because he asks them to. And anybody else who was allegedly coming from the Democratic side isn't going to go to Trump on this. Like, what the fuck?
Many of us thought that Trump would name Bobby Kennedy as his VP, but we all know in that...
Who's many? You and 3 other dudes you do mushrooms with? What are you talking about?
Million-year-ago moment of the attempted assassination, things got a little hyperbolic and hubristic around the RNC, and I think that many of them thought it's a done deal, you can appoint any VP you want. But it seems in the Kamala...
Sorry. Because he was assassinated, that gave Trump the power to... Oh, wait, hold on. I think I know which guy you're talking about. Give me 1 second. Because this dude's fucking magic. I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah, he could have picked Bobby Kennedy, just for the action of it. But, yeah, here we go. This is... Yeah, here it is. This one. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to bring this up here. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Trombone over there is like, hey, he could pick anyone he wants. He could have been in a situation where he was up against it and he would have to, even though he was supposedly winning in the polls. He could have picked, many of us thought, me and my producer, who's a complete fucking lunatic, thought that RFK Jr. would be his running mate, and then he almost got shot he got clipped in the ear with a piece of his fucking teleprompter, and then he could pick anyone, so he decided to double down and pick the perfect guy. Oh, always perfect. And if you don't believe me, check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you, excuse me, I give you, sometimes voices make tickle my throat. Yeah. I give you J.D. Vance in a random donut shop.
The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man.
Just cut her out of anything, but I'll just keep having a conversation with her as if she didn't fucking just say that. Yeah.
I'm J.D. Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
Halloween work.
I'm J.D. Vance. I'm running for vice president. Nice to see you. Okay.
I've been here since the beginning of July
Okay.
of this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Also, what the fuck is up with his hair? Did he go get one of those, like, white supremacist mop top? Like, honest to God, it looks like he was... here's, as someone who travels all the time, spends a lot of time on planes, and doesn't always have long flowing locks like I have right now. When you have short hair, that's neck pillow hair right there. That's nap hair, ladies and gentlemen. So if you sleep on a chair back, on an airplane, right? And you're on a plane that doesn't have a bed, so you lean it back as far as you want, and then you got a fucking neck pillow. He's totally got fucking neck pillow hair. Either that, or he's growing a plant out of the top of his head.
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah.
Okay, good. And now, the art of ordering donuts.
I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. Always this place been around.
Just whatever makes sense. Donuts make sense, motherfucker. Donuts. Whatever makes sense. I don't know you. What? Why? Just shit. Tell me. Tell me you don't know yourself or your staff or fucking donuts without telling me you don't know yourself or your staff or fucking donuts. You have no idea. You didn't even ask. You're going to a donut place. Hey, I'm going to do the ordering or whatever. What do you guys want? Just fucking, I don't know, throw some shit in a box. You're killing it with the whole weird with the line and a circle and line through it. Man, just beating that shit to death. Yeah, you're driving, you got the pedal to the metal and you're driving straight into retraction town. Stop calling me weird. How long has this place been around? Sir, I'm married and I'm half your age.
About 4 years.
About 4 years? Okay.
Yeah, about 4 years. Post-pandemic. We've been open since Joe Biden's been president, and we're doing fine. Get the fuck out of here.
How long have you been here?
Jesus Christ, who cares? Why is that your go-to question? I gotta say. This is odd. That seems to be his only fucking question.
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. 6 months since the end of July, 2 years. Got it. And this place has been here 4 years. Check. Okay, get that on the list. We got all the numbers. Thanks. I'm a human LinkedIn profile. That's what I'm here for. I'm from LinkedIn. I'm here to personally update your profile. Jesus Christ.
The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us in here. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I don't know, the whole zoo, it's just wild. I don't know, you come in there, you're in like a suit. You're boring as fuck. I mean, it's just like having a fucking fucking bonobo running around throwing shit. You know, it's just, I was like, holy shit. When did we become one of the fucking stands at the zoo selling donuts? Gee, the zoo coming to town. She's like, I don't want to be on film because I know about you motherfuckers rolling in here and pretending we like you. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus. But no one can disagree that Trump, at that point, he very well, you know, he was, the establishment was trying to muscle him into a position where he'd have to take RFK Jr. And then when somebody took a poke at him, all of a sudden, he's free to pick whoever he wants, according to Rusty Trombone. And he picks RFK Jr. because of his dazzling personality and his deep and abiding connection to working class America as a venture capitalist.
With the mainstream media fully on side, once again, we have a potential battle on our hands. So, is it possible that Bobby Kennedy and Donald Trump could join forces? And is that exactly what we need, particularly when currency is under attack, when free speech is under attack?
Currency? Currency? Oh, I get it. He gets paid by Russia or China through crypto. And he can't take it out immediately because it gets taxed once you convert it into an actual currency in whatever country you're in. And so he keeps it in that, and they pay him, and then he's watching the value go down. And yeah, that's what he means. Yep.
Even our humble streaming show is literally under cyber attack. If you watch the streams live, you'll see those attacks happening live. So there's...
What are you talking about? What do you, you're not getting a DDoS attack on your individual fucking show, you absolute moron. Like, if your neighborhood has a fucking internet outage, it's not the establishment coming for you, asshole.
Let's have a look at Nicole Shanahan discussing the very real possibility that Bobby Kennedy and Donald Trump might yet join forces.
I did not put in tens of millions of dollars to be a spoiler candidate. I put in tens of million dollars to win.
Yeah, but what you're trying to win was the ability to be in a position to make IVF impossible for anybody who needs it. You fucking Looney Tune.
To fix this country, to do the right thing.
Did you though? Did you though?
I will say that Clear Choice, this PAC, this DNC aligned PAC, that
PAC is spelled with just a C, you know, because it's Political Action Committee, but that's just it's not the translation's fault.
Was created specifically to take us out, has spent millions of dollars to take us out. They have unfortunately turned us into a spoiler.
What? You were always going to be a spoiler, if anything at all. You were always going to be a waste of time and a blip, and because of who you chose to join. He picked her as his running mate because she paid for the fucking campaign. That's who she, by the way, that's who she's talking about. This is RFK Jr.'s running mate who gave him $10 million for the campaign. She created this PAC, and then she funded the campaign. That's who she is. That's RFK Jr.'s VP as an independent. That's who this is. Just so you know, a lot of people don't. She's paying for it. She's and the idea that you really think you're just going to knock out both parties first fucking go around. And by the way, the way you're going to do it is buying yourself the cheapest Kennedy. Yeah, that's her. Julia, yeah. By the way, hit that like, Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide, blah, 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 super chats, etc. I keep fucking forgetting to say it.
And we don't want to be a spoiler. We wanted to win.
You might. Or you might not, I suppose. You might be just delusional. RFK Jr. wants to be a fucking spoiler.
And we wanted a fair shot. The DNC made that impossible for us. They have...
By the way, Tommy Bilyeu, the guy, host, I know he considers himself a biohacker, and I know he's got everybody on his show. I've seen a few of his episodes. Impact Theory has really carved themselves a niche, and they should stay away from politics because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. He doesn't look well. He doesn't look good. And I understand, like, we're looking at, I've seen a bunch of their stuff on anti-aging and that kind of stuff. Because I'm obviously, way ahead of the curve on that. But one of the things everybody says is like near starvation level of caloric intake to extend your life. And no, not good. There's all kinds of problems with that. Just keep yourself in relatively good shape for the next 10 years, and then we'll reach escape velocity because they'll create proteins through AI doing so. We'll talk about it later. Anyways, he just looks bad. Maybe he's just got COVID. Who knows?
Shadow Bandas kept us off stages, manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state. They've even planted insiders into our campaign.
Dun, dun, dun.
To disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us. I mean, the extent by which the sabotage.
Wait a minute. You hold the fucking phone. You pilfer Democratic organizations for staff. You buy these people into your organization. You get some disenfranchised or disaffected former Dems to join your fucking campaign. And then when they realize you're full of shit and he's gross and full of shit, or he tries to put the moves on them or whatever the fuck he's doing on the road, and they decide to go, fuck this dude, and they tell everybody what the fuck you guys are up to, suddenly that's the DNC planting people in your organization, not you trying to steal staff. Fuck off.
They've unleashed upon us. It's mind-blowing. I mean, we're still learning new ways that they have sabotaged us.
Yeah, I'm sure RFK told you all about them.
I really wanted a fair shot at this election, and I believed in the America that a little girl, pledged an allegiance to.
All right. She's genuinely near tears right now, and I'm finding myself feeling empathetic to that moment because it's a very high stress thing. It's a very high stakes thing. However, as a grown woman who's not a little girl, fuck you. Stop pretending this should have been a cakewalk and everybody's just going to roll over and let you join forces for and finance the biggest anti-vax campaign we've ever seen, and throw your support behind a dude who's directly responsible for, I want to say, was it Haiti? It was like the Dominican Republic or whatever, the dude down there cutting off all the vaccinations, and they had dozens of kids die because RFK talked this fucker into, turning them into a petri dish, essentially, by saying, don't get vaccinated, you'll be fine. And then they had a bunch of people die. Right? And throwing your support behind a dude who, Samoa, thank you. So behind a dude who was on the fucking Epstein flight logs. What are you talking about?
And that is not where we are today. And it's not because of the Republican Party taking us out. It is exclusively because of the Democratic Party taking
that's because the Republican Party is too busy taking themselves out.
Us out. And I am so disappointed I ever helped them. I am so disappointed that I helped Chuck Schumer in that Georgia runoff secure a majority. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life.
Oh, right. So what? So Trump could have passed a nationwide abortion ban earlier, or?
And it's really devastating. So to answer your question, we are not spoilers. That was.
Yeah, you're not now. You're not now because you're failing. You're not spoilers because you're. I'll tell you why she thinks they're not spoilers. Because she's not spoilers for the Democratic Party. Nobody on our side fucking fell for it. And we don't have a bunch of rando Roseanne anti-vaxxer QAnon fuckheads looking for somebody to line up after. That's Trump.
It was never our motivation. We really wanted a fair shot. I think had we had a fair shot, we would have won.
You're a silly person. You if you had a fair shot, you want to talk about a fair shot? If I want to run for president, I don't get to be a fucking Kennedy when I start on day one. What's fair about that? When I become President Sparks, first of his fucking line. And I also don't have a dipshit buddy whose single purpose in life is to eliminate IVF. So she'll toss me $10 million to make noise all over the fucking country, pretending we can win. So don't give me a fucking fair shot, that fair shot bullshit. You want a fair shot? Go find a no name and back their campaign, dummy. Are you nuts? Fair shot. Nobody gets a fair shot running against a Kennedy. A fair shot to spend my $10 million on a fucking Kennedy running for office on an anti-vaxxer ticket. Get the fuck out of here. Good Lord. Do you think she can hear herself? Tell us in the comments below. Do you think she can actually hear herself? Do you think she... All right.
I still would love to see in the last 80 days of this election some miracle play out where we get a chance to debate.
Here's what I would go do a full press conference, the two of you together. Trump can pull these off. They're bullshit. Why not?
I don't think they're going to let us. Given this, I think we are taking a very serious look at making sure that the people that have corrupted our fair and free democracy do not end up in office in November.
Obviously, by the way, for those of you that might be confused, she does not mean the guy who sent a bunch of his supporters to attack the Capitol and install himself as president when he lost the last time. Just to be clear, because you might think from what she's saying that that's what she's... No.
It's hard. I mean, it's really hard, Tom, to say these words because it's also acknowledging how bad things are.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. They're not bad. They're worse. Because you're going to lose. And your money's going to go up in smoke, but you're not going to lose that money. That money, you're going to make that money back because there'll be an army of dipshits on the internet that you can hook some udders up to and milk for all they're worth as kind of like a sub-MAGA following and all that kind of shit. All right, you'll get that, but it's far worse because you hitched yourself to an immoral, grotesque wagon of a man who is directly responsible for bullshitting children to death and answering charges of sexual assault by going, I was no angel, I never said I was. I don't know if you know this is a huge drop off from angel to rapist. There's a huge drop off from angelic behavior to sexual assault. Right? Yeah, I'm just saying, you're going to have to start talking in the gray area, Miss Honesty at the expense of everything else. Good fucking God.
Yeah, it's hard to hear the words. Do you guys see any path to victory at this point?
All right. Now he's just being mean.
I mean, technically, if we can stay on the ballots, we've qualified for all the ballots now, which is an enormous feat. Like you don't understand. The system was designed to, after Ross Perot, to keep this from ever happening again, and we accomplished it. So technically,
No, it wasn't. Hey, stupid. It was not designed after Ross Perot to stop this from ever happening again. It was designed after Ross Perot to keep somebody from just running as a third party in some states to fuck the electoral college to guarantee that somebody on one side or the other could skate into the White House on the electoral college after losing, everybody splits the fucking popular vote 3 ways evenly. One person wins all the electoral votes because they've set it up that way. And then they reward the spoiler candidate who sniped the ones that they were never going to get from the other party. It was a manipulation of the electoral college that they were trying to do, which is why it had to be a higher standard to get on every ballot in the country before you become a nationwide candidate. So you couldn't fuck the system for one party or the other and then be given a fucking cabinet position, which is exactly what RFK was shooting for with Trump. My God, woman.
technically, we could win. We could absolutely win still.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I suppose there's some version of reality, and where you ever see the movie The One with Jet Li? Like if a presidential election version of that movie happens and you're in subplot B.
The problem is if you censor a candidate, as we've been censored, people don't get a chance to even hear us.
You're not censored. You're not censored anywhere. You're being interviewed on a YouTube channel right now that has like 8 million viewers. No one has stopped you from, like, MSNBC would interview you, or would have early in the campaign when it was, I guess, when she'd first entered it, before she went off the rails and was blathery.
So, there's 2 options that we're looking at, and one.
Yes, one is fuck, and the other is off. Or is that one?
One is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump.
That's kind of an interesting admission, wouldn't you say? Because he was, he's from a storied family with a background in the Democratic Party and royalty, really, in many ways. His father and his uncle, certainly his other uncle, you'd think they would pull from the Democratic Party, and that was the idea in the beginning, if you'll recall. Yeah? I mean, right now she's just essentially admitting it. We've got to get out. We're pulling Trump. We're pulling votes from Trump, and we were supposed to be. We're being. This was supposed to be a lucrative run for me and for RFK Jr. and get a reward out of it by basically hamstringing the Democrats.
We draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump, and we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision.
Well, I don't think there is an explanation for it. I mean, it's obvious. Like I said, we know why. Let me be abundantly clear. Chat room, let's be clear. It's you and me, just you and me here. The reason RFK Jr. would drop out and join forces with Donald Trump is because Donald Trump said on Fox and Friends that he will not release the Epstein documents. And at that point, RFK Jr.'s only hope for more of this stuff not spilling out about him comes from Donald Trump. And at that point, that was the threat. That was the promise for the reward. That's the quid pro quo in this. Yeah. Just saying. She doesn't have a piece of that I know of. I don't know if it's not like she was friends of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Or something like that. But anyways, so we don't really, I don't need to see any of fucking Rusty Trombone's, the rest of his bullshit take on this, because he doesn't have one. There's just an ad for coffee and whatever his bullshit is. It's not necessary. But I just thought you'd like to see where that was the full clip, or the most of it that came to everybody's attention, that says he's going to drop out tomorrow and he's going to give his throw his support behind Trump, which is, by the way, not going to help Trump at all. It's going to be a bunch of "I told you so," and this was always bullshit, and he was always meant to be a spoiler against the Democrats, and he's basically been and again, it didn't work. They're not spoilers, not because they didn't want to be, because nobody fell for it. That's why. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. Chat room, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. The 30th, I'm doing stand-up at Flappers. We're back on to our relatively normal schedule, and I'll be doing stand-up at Flappers for all of our patrons. I will be live streaming that. So a free comedy show a month. Yeah, that's not bad. Already. Tim Pool is going to flip out. Yeah, Tim Pool's is going to have a meltdown. Because he can't. Well, the thing is, Tim Pool is a Trump suck as well. Thank you, Melinda. Tim Pool is a Trump suck as well, but RFK Jr. gave him the ability to pretend he isn't. That's what RFK Jr. was there to do. Give a bunch of people the illusion of being independents. They could talk about it all they want, and then they go into the booth and they vote for Trump. That's the idea. Yeah. How did you rest a bit? No, I did not see it. Thank you for asking, though. I appreciate it. Flappers will be in Los Angeles and Burbank. Sunny downtown Burbank, California. If you're a Patreon and you want to come to the show and you're in the area at all, it can be you and a guest for free. True of all my personal stand-up shows. The only time I don't do that is when I can't, when I'm on a tour with like Sexy Liberal, and so I can't give tickets away because it affects everybody. But if it's my own solo show and you're a Patreon subscriber at any level, you get to bring you and a guest to the shows. I mean, come on, it's pretty good deal. Just saying, overall, and it's all new too. Yeah. Anyways, all right, next. So, Trump went down to the border. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to art of the deal. So, first of all, I want to show you that we are going to the verified Donald J. Trump channel on YouTube for this piece of video. Summer's good. She tested negative for COVID last night. She's had it for a couple days. So we're giving her one more day. And I have to sing on Saturday and I have to travel tomorrow. So I've been sleeping in the basement since I got back so that I don't catch it. And so she's like, I'm going into the kitchen. I'll let you know when I'm out of there. And then she Lysols her way out of the kitchen. And then I could go. It's hilarious. Yeah. You're right. It is beautiful downtown Burbank. Thank you. Thank you. Check the staffing chat. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Rob knows no show tomorrow, Andrea, already. Wait, he and I chit-chat, as it were, on our own. But yes, thank you. She is feeling much better, and her sense of taste is coming back, which is good because I made her, she made coffee for herself when I was away, and then I made coffee for her when she came back. She's like, it just tastes like water. It's just hot water. Now she can taste her coffee again. Things are on the mend. All right, if you're close to Burbank, make it down there, Blues Lovin'. Come on. Fill it up. It's all good. And by the way, Flappers has great food. I'm just saying. It's a good place for dinner. I'm just saying. And I'm not just saying that because they make me a steak every time I'm there. And it's fabulous. All right. Now, let me go to this channel. Okay, so this is Donald Trump's, if you'll see here, this is his verified Donald Trump channel where he has 3 million subscribers. About half of what Rusty Trombone has, most of these channels or whatever. That should tell you a little something. He's got a Rumble channel where they post stuff or whatever. It's got the same numbers, same subscribers, both venues. Just letting you know. That said, this is the angle that his people are sending out. There are a couple of others. That guy's holding up a shirt. It's got his dead sister or friend on it. I don't know the details of that particular one that they're talking about. It doesn't matter because I feel bad for people when they lose a relative and it's always terrible. That's not the point. The point is Trump's exploitation. This guy is, of course, going to do everything he can to get justice for his sister / wife, daughter, whatever, friend. That's none of our concern. Anybody in that situation, by the way, radio is on Saturday, Barbara. So no show tomorrow, but I will have radio on Saturday. Like I said, I leave those folks out of it, just for the record. It's the same rule I have. In case you're new here, some of you might be, share the show, like it, subscribe, etc. I have a rule. One is I don't joke over people's prayers. The one exception being is that I will focus on what Trump is doing during some prayers, I will say. But I also don't go after civilians that come up and are interviewed or any of these kind of things in any of these situations, even if I disagree with them politically or whatever, because especially in an extenuating circumstance where you've lost somebody, I don't expect people to think clearly or experience things clearly or any of that. I don't. I give them that pass, if that makes sense. This is all about the people in power who have power who should know better or do better, right? No, Trump does not pray. It's what he does while he's supposedly listening to a prayer that I talk about sometimes. Okay, here we go. How am I on the 3 laws of robotics? I think they are insufficient. That we'll just leave it there until Friday next week. All right.
President for being here.
So this cop introduces him. Trump walks out, and you'll hear like 4 claps. That's I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's not a big turnout. I mean, granted, it's a press thing in front of the wall, which, by the way, I don't know if you can hear what they're saying, because not only is it a little quiet, but the sound of the hordes of insane asylum escapees climbing over the wall and running by in the background sometimes covers the sound of the speakers. So
thank you very much, everybody. It's very sad.
It's hot.
Sad time for this country in many ways.
All right. Were you just trying to lick through the hole on a powdered donut? By the way, this is what happened. By the way, he looks like he's fucking melting, for one. And he had a hat on, and then he took it off, and then he should have put it back on, and they wouldn't be able to see his face at all because of where the camera is. They move it, I think. But look at his mouth. I'll tell you what that is? That's really orange base, too much makeup, lick your lips. That's what happens. Barf, barf, barf.
You had a candidate. I was no fan of Joe Biden, but the way he was taken out was a coup.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I thought what he was saying was sad was the dude who's got his dead sister on a fucking shirt behind you. Silly me. Why would that doesn't concern you? What the fuck does that have to do with you? Obviously, when you talk about something was sad and a tragedy, it's that, of course, I'm sorry. I thought you were referencing the dead girl, but
he got 14 million votes, and the person running now got none. She was disgraced. She was figured out.
Also, disgraced? What a weird thing. How she's been the vice president this whole time. That ticket, both of them won together. And at that time, before you, Biden was the oldest person who'd run for office up to that. Congrats on breaking another record, by the way. We all knew she was young and he's older, and something could very well at that age statistically happen to Joe Biden. We were all fine with yeah, she'd be great. She got all the actual votes. And by the way, if you're so fucking worried about it and that they swooped him out of the way, don't be concerned that Democrats aren't going to be, we can just not vote for her if we felt that way, right? If we felt she orchestrated a coup, why would we vote for a coup? The election hasn't happened yet. That's just the primary part of it. We could all get that mad and not vote. I guess that's what he's trying to do. The crocodile tears over Joe Biden being pushed aside on that, like they think this is going to benefit them is super fucking weird.
out by the...
Oh, yes. Yes, CSL is now... we got clips of the show. Please like and share them out. But we've shortened down the show. I've also got another step that we're going to take starting, I think, next week, hopefully, if I can get the person to do it. But just hang on. All right.
Democrat voters.
Oh, there's a big fucking fly going around him. Satan knows when a friend is nearby, and he sends someone with messages.
She never made it to Iowa. She was the first one out of approximately 22 people that were running for the Democrat nomination. She never even made it to Iowa.
Jesus. Okay, first of all, creepy lips. You do realize oftentimes that's a sign. That's a sign that the leading candidate or someone who expects to jump ahead in the future is saying, hey, don't chip away at me and I'll help you out along the way. And is having conversations with people that if you drop out now, it's going to be hard. Maybe you're behind, but I think you'd make a great vice president. That would really help. And then we don't have to injure each other in this process. And you don't have to compete with the other people who are going to lose and have bad blood as you get closer to the end. Right.
Beautiful place, Iowa. But
beautiful place, Iowa. Both of the places I've been to. His lips are freaking me out. I don't know how much. And also, what the fuck is this angle? This is his own YouTube site. This is the official one. I just showed you this. This is the angle they're doing. There are other angles of this, ladies and gentlemen, I could give you. But we'll get it's bad enough already, and I probably should have put this up beforehand. But they may straighten or switch to another camera because this is all for his campaign. But we might get a scarier view of his nunt if we're not careful. So just giving you a heads up. Yeah. Okay.
She didn't. Plenty of people did. And Biden got 14 million votes. She got no votes, and now she's running against us. The good news is I think we're winning in the polls based on what I'm seeing. And after the debate, we were winning by...
Oh, there you go. They finally switch over to a slightly more normal angle.
Many
like, so what the fuck were they doing during all that part? Where just somebody sitting there, oh, fuck me, like...
Points, as you know, against Biden. They went in to see him. They said, you're losing. You're not going to win. You can't win. We're going to get you out. It was a coup of a...
Dude, you're at the fucking border. Get on with it. Think about what... All right. They just had like 5 fucking people talk before this. I'm dead serious. They just had 5 people come up. That woman, that guy, the police officer, a border patrol dude. There's a bunch of people. I didn't cover them because I don't... Who cares? I have empathy for the victims and people who've gone through this stuff. The police should... That's local shit. This is the only guy in this whole circumstance that could affect my life or your life, so that's what we deal with. That's how it works. And after all 5 of these motherfuckers, and they're standing in front of a big chunk of this fucking wall, which, by the way, the building of the wall caused the problem at the border, because to construct a wall, you can't just have like it right on a cliff because it'll fall over. So you have to move it in, flatten the ground out, build the wall in the middle of that. Now you have an access road on either side of it, which has allowed people to walk all the way to the end of the wall. And where does it stop? Indian land and private land. And what do? They fucking walk around it. And there's a road leading right to the end of the wall on the Mexico side. You dumb motherfucker. Oh, God, I hate this. Yes, it's the stupidest thing ever. Areas that used to be craggly rock and stuff, you'd have to climb up it and shit like that, is now, it's like you can roll a fucking suitcase down it.
An American president, and it was done with anger, and he's more angry than anybody.
It was done with anger, and he's more angry than anybody. Okay, thanks. Sorry, I have to stop every so often to just do a dipshit check on what he's talking about.
And again, I'm no fan of his. I think he was perhaps the worst president. He was the worst president, largely because of what's happened at the border. He's allowed...
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over all the crazy people who are climbing over the wall like World War Z.
In my opinion, and in the opinion of the gentleman behind me who know this better than anybody, much more than 20 million people into our country, many from prisons and jails, many from mental institutions, insane asylums, and many terrorists. And this was when I...
So let me get this right. So those guys behind you are just letting those people through? They're just letting them through. They're just like, if they see them, they just go, fuck it. What are they? What? So the border's open, right? That's apparently the president's policy, according to you. So what does this guy in the green shirt do? Does he just wave people in now? Is that what he does? Anyways, he killed the border bill.
I left. This is a very famous chart now because this chart probably saved my life.
Bullshit. That chart is why the guy tried to shoot you in the fucking face. He waited till you turned. You didn't turn at the last fucking second. He was looking this way the whole time. When the happened, he went like that. Jesus Christ. This is so stupid.
But this chart is showing, the arrow on the bottom shows that this was the lowest.
Yes, it's called COVID, you dumb motherfucker. We know. We had more cases than Mexico did. I can't, even crazy people who've broken out of an insane asylum apparently can figure out they have a lower chance of dying of an infectious disease if they just stay in fucking Tijuana.
This was the last week in office for me because of a horrible, horrible election where I got many millions more votes than I got the first time, but didn't quite make it, just a little bit short.
Like millions.
We got to clean up our borders. We have to clean up our elections, or we're not going to have a country. But that's my last week. The arrow on the bottom, you see, that's the lowest point, as the gentlemen were talking. That's the lowest point in the recorded history of the border. This was done by Border Patrol.
Yeah, because they weren't keeping track during the Spanish fucking flu.
Well, this wasn't done by Trump. This was done by Border Patrol, working with ICE and law enforcement.
May I, real quick? Also, that period of time, a lot of Border Patrol, except the ones that were like partnered off or in trucks or separated individuals or whatever, there were a lot fewer Border Patrol out running around. So the counting was way down as well. Let's not pretend that it dropped immediately to fucking zero, because that's actually the number of people crossing. It's just a lot of people were avoiding coming into contact with people so they wouldn't die.
Right. And that's what we're going to do again. If you take
another pandemic, brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? People, why didn't you guys? Chat room, why didn't we think of that? Let's just have another pandemic. Then you can use the rules about health to just shut the border forever, close all the ports, then we can build a wall all around the fucking country and starve to death. It's brilliant. Honestly, the man never runs out of ideas.
Take a look, interestingly, at all of the wall that's laying on its side. That could have been put up in a matter of weeks. It was all set to go. It was all cut out. And if you look at the top of the mountain behind us, it was all shaped, all ready to go. Could have been put up in a few weeks. Much of it's been sold for 5 cents on the dollar. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's very rusty, though.
I worked with Border Patrol very closely. We worked, Brandon, we worked with all of Paul, all of your people. And
you guys are the ones that came up with this stupid design.
We wanted to design something that worked, and we actually...
He wanted a giant concrete flat wall, and they're like, do you realize that to make it stable so it doesn't fall over in a fucking windstorm, a concrete wall that big would have to be so goddamn thick you could walk across the top of it, which would basically be just an elevated sidewalk. Good Lord. There's a reason why the Great Wall of China is a tourist walk. You realize that, right? You go up one flight of stairs and you can walk for miles on the fucking thing because it's basically a road. It's terrible. Unless you've got archers on it all the time, it's a terrible barrier. I know. I've been on it several times.
Actually had mountain climbers. We even had drug climbers. They call them drug climbers. They can get over.
They do. That is true. They do call them drug climbers. I love when he just like makes up a word and then immediately fabricates a group of people that say the weird word. I mean, this goes way back to I guess where is it? Yeah.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Yeah, no, they don't. They never did. No one ever said to him ever, pronounce it Burmesia. Burmisma. He says Burmisma later too. So this is a rhetorical trick he uses all the time. It's pretty fucking hilarious. But he fucks up a word and then he fabricates a person who fucked up the word to him, so it's their fault. It goes along. There's this pocket of things that he does. Came very highly recommended is another one. So that if you blame him for hiring some dipshit, it's not my fault. The people I told or paid or whatever to give me good advice, they suck. So I when you're fired, person who never existed.
Over a wall, so incredible with 75 pounds of drugs on their back. They can climb up things, and
Does it matter that it's drugs, or can they carry anything that weighs 75 pounds? I mean, do they get to, maybe they use some of the drugs and that helps them climb, is the idea? That
Yeah, designed this after looking at a lot of different designs, and that's an anti-climb panel that makes it very tough for...
Not impossible. I'm just saying a metal wall in that kind of heat most of the year, it's going to be very difficult no matter who you are, I would think. Yeah, tunneling under it, however.
Somebody to climb. This was the one that they wanted. A little more...
Yeah, this is the one they wanted. Can't blame me for my stupid fucking wall.
Expensive version, but this is the one that's a very important panel on top. And it's called anti-climb. And
It is. Yeah, it's not... The problem, it's called anti-climb. But the problem is the people that I don't call them this, but they call them this. They're drug climbers. We should have made it anti-drug climber. That was the problem. Yeah. And we could have done it. It would have taken 2 weeks, and we had all the materials. It's all sitting over there rusting. The Biden administration could have done it in like 2 weeks, but they decided not to make it anti-drug climber.
And this was put in here just to shade us because there's a lot of rough people on the other side. So
bullshit.
I figured you're the media. You want to be shaded. This gets taken off. This is just temporary to shade us from potential hazard.
Oh, I'm sorry. What are you afraid? There's another Republican with an AR-15. This one just happens to be in Mexico right now that might take a shot at you.
You know about hazards. But all of the...
Yeah, we all know about hazards. I know about the Dukes of, for example, that comes to mind.
This wall was built at great expense, and all it had to be, erected. We just had to be stood up on its end, concrete on the bottom, goes down 6 feet.
So that sounds like more of a process than just standing it up. So it needs concrete on the bottom, goes down 6 feet. Okay, can you just put that anywhere? Like if you find a cliff, can you just attach it to oh no, it has to be a big bunch of flat ground. And it's got to be stable enough, that ground on either side of it. So one of it's like a riverbank, for example, on one side. So you have to move it in until the ground is stable enough, right? So you're basically giving land to Mexico, is what you're saying?
It also went down and shielded from tunnels because we went down about as far as it's practical for them to go down.
Yeah, practical. But I've noticed that a lot of drug climbers are fairly impractical people. So the drug diggers, they call them, are even more impractical.
And they build tunnels under walls. We went down.
What?
Down pretty deep. We'd go down a lot deeper than the wall. Made it very tough for them. And we stopped that, and we stopped people from coming over. But when they refused to, I built hundreds of miles of this. By the way, as far as the eye can see, you look at the other direction.
And it didn't help.
As far as the eye could see, and then I'd hear.
Well, are you? Maybe you need glasses.
People say, "Oh, he didn't build the wall. We built the wall. We built much more than I was anticipated to build."
Boo fuckity who.
And we were going to build.
Oh yes, the DNC is happening, and I understand everybody's like, "Are you going to cover the DNC?" No, because the DNC is doing fine on its own, and there's plenty of people covering it, and I don't want to overlap. So I'm just taking care of this dickhead. You know what I mean? I'm the dude standing here I'm standing guard on this side of the talking points while everything else is going down, if that's cool with you guys.
An extra 200 miles. Much of this is that, which is much more than I said I was going to do because.
Yeah, but you needed eminent domain not only on private land, but on fucking Indian land, and you didn't have the permission to do it, so you're going to take that land and in the process give some of their land to fucking Mexico, because anything south of the wall, even if technically the border doesn't start for like 3 miles in or some shit like that, it doesn't matter. That land is officially theirs now. Can't do anything about it.
As we built it, they would go around the edges.
Uh-huh. How would they do that? It's almost as if some of us could have fucking warned you that building a road, this motherfucker, I'm getting so angry, I almost like it.
So we were going further and further out, and it worked. We had the best numbers ever, and we had them largely because of the wall and also because the Mexican military helped us, which they never helped at any time. They never.
Okay, fuck off. The Mexican military was not guarding the wall or guarding the border about immigrants. They were protecting the workers so that there wouldn't be an international incident. There was just no impetus for the cartels or anybody to shoot the construction workers who were building the fucking wall. They were more apt to tip them to sabotage areas along the wall to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars so they could tunnel later. Leave little markers where you know the wall is shallow. That kind of stuff. That you could make money that way. So why the fuck would they shoot them? So the soldiers weren't necessary. The soldiers, if he had any fucking brains at all, which he absolutely does not, would have been better used on the southern border of Mexico. Because largely the giant push of people that were coming up at any given time were coming from South American countries, and they were coming through Mexico to the United States.
It helped. And we were very proud of it. So we went from the best numbers in recorded history to the worst numbers in recorded history or any
also just nonsense.
Other history. And we have a Marxist that's running, and I don't think you can let her. This country is not ready for a Marxist president. She will never build.
By the way, her father was a Stanford economist who wrote esoteric papers on all kinds of economic stuff. So he was one of these people who'd love to sit around and discuss all potential forms of economics and that kind of shit. He ultimately wrote the economic plan for Jamaica to get back on its feet. Absolutely, straight up normal functioning market capitalism and salvage the Jamaican economy. Almost like that's how everybody talks about the dude. It's just silly.
Build the wall. She doesn't want to build the wall.
No, she doesn't want the wall causing more problems.
She's only saying if she changes her mind, it's only because she wants to get elected, because who wouldn't want to have a strong border? You need strong border.
Yeah, we know he tried to pass a bill and you sabotaged it.
And strong elections, and we have neither. But we're going to have very strong borders, and we're going to have very strong elections soon. The people is fed up.
How? Also, how? Motherfucker, if they stole it from you last time and you were in office, how now that you're out of office are you in a position to win an election from the people that you allege stole it from you? It's all bullshit. But how does it make any fucking sense? How do you win against the people that stole it from you while they were out of office? How? How does that work? If you managed to win and they were able to steal it, why don't we believe you stole it? You're the one out of office. This is so dumb.
It's common sense. The people are just fed up. And you saw it. Everybody coming from the airport saw the thousands and thousands of people lined up. It looked like Lindbergh coming in from what he did at the time.
What did he do at the time? You mean sympathize with Hitler?
Broadway, it was amazing when you see all those people it was a long drive from the airport and so many thousands and thousands of people. The people in my car said, I've never seen anything like that. We're in the middle of an area that's not well populated, and to have thousands of people like that is pretty unbelievable. I hope you got to.
Oh, he means people standing alongside the road holding signs or something like that. Yeah. Dude, you're in a deeply red state, in a deeply red area. There's not a lot to do.
See it. And I hope the press writes this story fairly, because it's a story of
tale as old as time, future made like bullshit. It's a story I believe and no one else does. It's the story of bullshit. It's bullshit all the time. Bullshit. I bullshit all the time. Everybody likes my brand of bullshit. I got a big shovel and I'll pour it right in. Bullshit. Just join my bullshit. I'm bullshit. Everybody loves me for bullshit, bullshit, bullshit every day. Thank you. That's what happens when I've been to Disney World and and he almost quotes Beauty and the Beast.
Grace. We had a border czar who was the border czar. She loved the title, but she didn't want to do the work because she's lazy.
Also, she didn't use the title. That wasn't her title. You love the title. You want the title on her. That's not what she did.
And probably more importantly than being lazy, she wants to have an open border.
That is more important than being lazy. I agree.
And you say, who would want an open border where criminals?
Yeah. Who would want an open border? Who would want chaos and disorder? Who cares? It's bullshit. Time for me to bullshit. Giving away, I got bullshit. Just stirring the bullshit rag. Habba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Aye.
Can pour into our country. And all you have to do is walk up there if you have the courage to do it and go to that
go to the end of the wall on private land. Asshole.
Open section. Stand there for a little while. You'll be running back here very quickly. You really have to write this fairly, this story. Because you people...
You do. Write this fairly.
Don't want to talk about the border. You don't...
Yeah, they should write this fairly about how you built an access road on previously untraversable land that now makes it easy for migrants to walk to the end of the wall and go around, whereas before it went from wall and barrier to fencing and it was rough terrain, so they couldn't get up even, if they tried. I mean, they could. It would be a struggle, but now they can just fucking stroll. You gonna tell them that?
Don't want to talk about the bad things that are going on in our country. We're going to end up not having a country. You're not going to have any media. We don't have media. They don't have media. They do their own media. They don't need media.
What? Okay, sorry. So insane people from insane asylums are going from Guatemala and Honduras and other countries you can't spell, and even countries with black people in them, are storming towards the southern border. They don't speak English. They're violent and they're awful, and they're going to take your jobs in independent media. Something like that? Or do you think Mexico doesn't have a television station? God damn.
But you really should cover this story fairly. Before I begin, I have some...
Dude, you already did.
I think very good words on the border and what to do and how to solve the problem. We had it solved.
You think?
All they had to do is leave it. Leave it. Just leave it.
You just leave it. Just leave it alone. Stop it. Don't touch it. It stings. What? What's your great plan? What's your great plan? My plan was don't do anything. Just stop.
But before I begin, I want to address the fake job numbers on top of everything else, fellas. Fake jobs.
Fake jobs, people.
Fake job numbers that the Harris-Biden administration has been reporting for the last year.
No. They're reporting the jobs numbers as they come. By the way, the revision, this is bad news for him, right? Okay, so the jobs numbers, he's going to get into this, but I'll show you this real quick. Let's see. Jobs numbers for last year, basically, the fiscal year, March to March. were revised down by 818,000 jobs over the course of the year. Almost 1 million jobs. I mean, it's a lot of, it was basically like 24, get out of here. It was basically like, what was it? 18 fewer jobs gaining, robust 242. Yeah, so instead of gaining over those 12 months, instead of adding 242,000 jobs a month, they added 174,000 jobs a month, which is still rock fucking solid, okay? Still record numbers, still well above anything Trump could fucking touch. And let me tell you something. If that number had been reported officially, it would be better for if they'd have been more consistent. If the Bureau of Labor Statistics had a better angle on how many jobs were added, and they told how much that would have meant the Fed would have lowered interest rates sooner, which would have been even better for the fucking economy. We'd probably be in our third drop in the interest rate. We'd probably be our third fucking basis point. There would be, I'm dead serious. It would have been so much better for people recognizing the economy is doing well if the Fed had lowered interest rates and allowed more money back into circulation, but they kept it artificially high because the jobs numbers were so high. Thank you, Michael, and I'm sorry he makes you sick, but I hope I'm entertaining and pushing back on it. So thank you for the super chat. I know it's painful, but again, we have to address what he says because there's this illusion that one thing in it is crazy, but the rest of it's normal, and none of it makes any fucking sense. But let me tell you something. If the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and feel free to at me, anybody, feel free to at me, that if these numbers had been actually the correct number the entire fucking time, the Fed would have lowered interest rates fucking beginning of this year, which would have helped with wage gains and all kinds of other stuff. It would make people able to buy houses and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Mark. It would have made it made it easier for people to buy houses and borrow money. Just saying. If there was a conspiracy to inflate these numbers for a particular purpose, it would be to hurt the Biden administration by overheating the job market. This is what he's referring to right here. Labor market last year seemed to shrug off historically high interest rates and inflation, gaining well over 200,000 jobs a month. Turns out the nation's job engine wasn't quite as invincible as it appeared. It was invincible, but not quite as invincible. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics on Wednesday revised down its estimate of total employment in March 2024 by a whopping 818,000, the largest such downgrade in 15 years, because they haven't been able to keep track of it. That effectively means there were 818,000 fewer job gains than first believed from April 2023 to March 2024. So instead of adding a robust average of 242,000 jobs a month during that 12-month period, the nation gained a still solid 174,000 jobs monthly, according to the latest estimate. The revision is based on the quarterly census employment and wages, which draws from state unemployment insurance records that reflect actual payrolls, while the prior estimates come from monthly surveys. However, the estimate is preliminary, and a final figure will be released early next year. The largest downward revision was in professional and business services, which estimated payrolls lowered by 358,000, followed by 150,000 in downgrade in leisure and hospitality, and 115,000 in manufacturing. Still minor, and then it picked up in other areas. They still gained more. It's lower than it was, but higher than it had ever been. It's just silly. Okay, so that said, had we been in a situation where those numbers had come in honestly, they still would have been good all the time. However, the Fed would have reacted that the economy was cooling at a much earlier stage and would lower the interest rate. At this point, this fixing of this number now guarantees that the Fed will lower the interest rate by at least a quarter point before the election, if not half a point, to catch up. More than likely, they would do 2 quarters. One now and one probably right before Christmas. Luke, it's a long story, my friend, about the K word. We can't say it, or otherwise it triggers it and makes it happen. It's a long story. But anyways, back to our regularly scheduled dipshittery.
Thanks to a leaker yesterday, meaning
Also, not a leaker. These are official Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers.
probably in this case a patriot. They were forced to release numbers. They claimed falsely that they created 818,000 jobs. So they said they did almost 1 million jobs. 818,000.
No, fuckhead. They did almost 3 million jobs. It was 2.9. It's been revised down to 2.1. They still created 2.1 million jobs, dum-dum. But what am I saying? He wrote Art of the Deal. He knows economics better than the economists do. He knows ISIS better than the generals do, mainly because they're, funded by the same people that fund him, but whatever.
1,000 jobs that actually didn't exist. They were phantom jobs. They're called phantom jobs.
I don't call them phantom jobs. The drug jumpers. They're like drug climbers, but they use the actual drug.
The reason they did that is because I was even a little surprised their job numbers look better, because I know the economy's lousy. Everyone here knows it's lousy. These people behind me know it's lousy.
I'm just going to say her sunglasses clearly over $100. I'm not faulting her, just saying.
We have the worst inflation, I believe, in the history of our country.
Well, we don't, so whatever you believe is fine. You can also believe the earth is flat. We have the flattest earth in the history of the earth being flat, in my opinion. Why not just say that?
And that's absolutely killing people. But it's...
No, they're not dying from inflation at all.
818,000 jobs, almost 1 million. And these are just the jobs we found out about. There's a lot of other false things.
He's disappointed the number isn't bigger. Yeah. By the way, those would be the 800,000, immigrant numbers. Those are the jobs that everybody says went to immigrants that didn't actually happen.
Things that now are being looked at, that number will increase.
Mm-hmm.
So they reported false numbers, and this isn't a revision. There's never been anything like this. This is a fraud put out by Harris.
Well, then why would they release it closer to the election? Right? What you think it matters that, so they could run well early in the year or last year for the election? Why would you, if the whole thing, it was a fraud, why wouldn't you just have hey, hold that number till December, right?
And by Biden. And they were going to release the real numbers. It's called a revision after the election. But it got found out before the election. And
it got found out because the Bureau of Labor Statistics was doing its job, and it's on a quarterly and biannual basis. That's why the next numbers on this won't be till the first quarter of next year, because that's the next time they do it.
I hope you're going to write about it, but it's a big story, and it's
huge.
A story that's going to be going very far. People are very upset about it, including government.
All the people who thought they had jobs but don't actually exist. Those people are pissed. What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean I'm not a real boy? I was mowing lawns.
Government officials are very upset about it. Even people that are Democrats are because it's a pure fraud.
Yeah, everybody's upset about it, especially the people who lost jobs they never had.
When you have a revision, you have a few jobs one way or the other, and they get it straight at the end of the month. But this one was sheltered for a long time, and they wanted to release it after November 5th. I wonder why.
Well, I don't know. Why didn't they?
When it didn't really matter too much, but even then it mattered. But
why? Did they want to release it after because they wanted to make you look bad, that everybody lost their job as soon as you were elected?
So I hope you're going to report it. Almost 1 million jobs were phantom jobs. They were fake jobs.
Yeah, the problem you have is that even with the revision, they still created more jobs in that year than you ever did in your entire presidency.
just like a lot of reporting is fake. And I hope you're going to report it.
Yeah. Fuck you. Like that. I mean, that's basically, maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you're doing a press conference, don't say fuck the press. Write to them.
Because people have to hear it. They didn't want these numbers to come out. And they did come out. And I really, the whistleblower or whoever it was that got them to have to do it. So
the schedule that they are on as part of their duty as a department of the country or the department of the government, that they're on a schedule.
Somebody today, a high official said, well, we don't really believe those numbers because Trump gave them. I didn't give them. I got them from the administration, from the Labor Bureau. And these are...
You mean the Bureau of Labor and Statistics? Or maybe, you know what? Maybe there's a Labor Bureau and I don't know about it. It's a dresser that's really hard to open. I know, Labor Bureau. That's too much. That's too far.
The stats that were just let out, in fact, officially, I mean, they just came out. They were released in, officially released. Those are official numbers. Has nothing to...
Yeah, that's right. They're official numbers because the government fucking functions.
Do with me. I just happen to be playing the role of a reporter for a change.
Oh, so, fake news, full of shit, part of the establishment. I'm being censored. He's part of the, he's a reporter. They always lie. Reporters always lie.
But I hope you're going to do something with it because I think it's a serious thing. It's the same as everything else.
It is the same as everything else. That's how to get people interested in a story. You know what I mean? Yes, he is wearing a bulletproof vest. You're absolutely right. Somebody pointed that out. Yeah, you can see the line. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that we decided to do this. It's a little dangerous to do. I hate to tell you, you guys are in danger with...
They shouldn't even shoot me. They should shoot you. I'm just saying. I'm blocked. They blocked the wall of it. I can clearly see they'd be able to hit you. And
the kind of weaponry that we have, but I felt it was important to do.
What? You thought it was important because of the jobs numbers to endanger the lives of some reporters by doing a press conference in front of the wall in an area where they might be shot? That'll get them on your side. I don't know. Dude, Dale Carnegie ain't got shit on you.
And this kind of stuff that they put up to shield us, I'm going to make you feel not so good. It doesn't mean a thing compared to what comes through there.
Jesus Christ! The fuck are you talking about, you weirdo?
But at least they can't see you.
What? Yeah, they just have to blindly shoot at all of us, so... What the fuck? Who talks like this? Who?
But it's dangerous territory, and these people have unbelievable courage. The Border Patrol, ICE, the police, local law enforcement, unbelievable. I don't even know how they do it. They talk about, I was courageous. These people are courageous. They go through this every day. And the amount of horrible injuries sustained in fights and shootings are just incredible. Not reported, but incredible.
Well, I mean, you had time. You could have brought, did you say something? Maybe ask that dude. He's right there. Maybe just have him walk over and go, hey, you ever been shot? You ever been stabbed? You ever been in a fight? Whatever happened to you? And he would go, no, none at all. But, I've been lucky. I know somebody who did. Really? What's his name? He's a guy in we're not close.
Incredible. We're here today on the southern border in Arizona where Comrade Kamala Harris, I call her Comrade because she is a radical left Marxist. She wants open borders.
By the way, just for the record, Marxists are very big on borders. I don't mean the kind of college Marxism stuff, but like the Soviet Union had, you do realize there's a reason why they reference the East Berlin, West Berlin Wall, right? Big border people, the Marxists and this. I'm just saying, communists, because if you're going to share all those resources or whatever, you can't have everybody coming in all the time. You actually have to be, they're big on walls, a lot of towers and machine guns, shit like that. I'm just saying.
She wants our country. I don't understand why anybody would want it, but she wants our country to be open to the world's criminals so they can come in and rape and pillage and do whatever they have to do.
I mean, I'd say it's kind of self-evident, right? Why wouldn't you want that? You know, it's not like she has any relatives or anything. Like, it's not going to happen to her. She's not like she's from a border state. I mean, California is, obviously. But it's probably just they probably just hate Texas, I guess, right? That'd be the reason.
But she's the most radical left person who has ever run for high political office in our country's history.
We actually had a Communist Party a long time ago. And, of course, the seeds of the Republican Party are the leftover Dixiecrats who were the racist, dead enders around the Civil War. But we'll get into that later, too.
And by the way, the governor, who's done a poor job as governor, Minnesota, Walz.
Oh, I thought he was shitting on Greg Abbott for a second.
He's done a poor job, very poor job.
I don't know. It's a pretty great state. I was just there, did a show. It was amazing.
His numbers are horrible. People are fleeing his state. I love his state. We should have won his state twice.
No, they're not. People are not fleeing Minnesota. They really aren't. Like, that's weird. I mean, you can make the case about California, even though it's bullshit, because there's constantly people going to California and then they leave because it's that kind of the industries that are there are the kind that you either make it or you don't. So Hollywood specifically and venture capital and tech, you go there, you try to, you put your tent up, see if it works, and then it doesn't, you go back home. That happens all the time. So there's always that traffic out of the state, as that's usually replenished by new people moving in there. But nobody's fucking blitzing out of fucking Minnesota.
But a lot of hanky-panky goes on there.
Well, why would you leave? That sounds very positive. Really? Hanky-panky? What? What the hell? What? Wait, what?
He's done a poor job, very poor job. His numbers are horrible. People are fleeing his state. I love his state. We should have won his state twice. But a lot of hanky-panky goes on there. Hasn't been won since 1972.
Well, maybe you just maybe your hanky-panky game sucks. Maybe you're just no good at hanky-panky. Hanky-panky.
Richard Nixon was the last one to win it, but every.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that funny? That's when the Democrat that was going to run stepped down and didn't. And never mind.
Time I go in there, we have massive crowds and everything's good, but no.
No, you don't. Dude, you have bigger crowds in Iowa.
Nobody seems to be able.
And there's more people in Minnesota
to win it, so I know why we didn't win it. People don't like to talk about it, but he's.
I think it's because obviously they have someone running the elections there that was in an insane asylum in Guatemala, hiked his way up there, and got a job.
He's a horrible governor. Has bad job numbers, bad numbers for leaving, a lot of people leaving the state.
Well, I mean, maybe they just, they're tired of the hanky-panky, and they want to try a little bit of the hokey-pokey. You know what I mean? You don't go to a state right away. You put your right foot in, take your right foot out, put your right foot in, you shake it all about. Just saying. Sounds like a plan.
And he's insisted
Now you've got the hokey pokey stuck in your head, don't you? You're welcome.
Put a bill. I'm sure the sheriffs would be very happy when they hear this. He signed a bill fairly recently where boys' bathrooms have to have tampons in boys' bathrooms. I don't even like to bring this subject up.
I don't know why. Dude, you wouldn't even buy tampons for your wives or your daughters.
But it's a subject you have to hear about.
Thanks, Mark.
That's what he wants. He's a radical left guy who lied like hell last night, and she'll lie tonight. We're doing a review of her tonight on Truth.
We're doing really? Is it like a can kind of thing? Just like you and a bunch of people kick lines and stuff. You're doing a review, are you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the Kamala Harris rag. All right.
Truth, because she'll lie just like the rest of them lied. They talked about what I said about soldiers. I never said anything. I love our soldiers. They made the story up. It was fiction. We had
No, it isn't.
26 people countering it, but nobody cares.
Also, the 26 people that you had counter it, none of them were present when you said it. All of the 26 people like, that's not something he would say. But you did. And, motherfucker, you said he's a war hero because he was captured. I like heroes that weren't captured, okay? Why would going your belief about them saying over dead soldiers what was in it for them, which is the phrase, be that weird? That's not even as bad as what you said about John McCain, you fucking cretin. And there was I don't know who said it. I think, it was David K. Johnson who was saying the reason Trump has this kind of low opinion of the military, and he does the same thing about police ultimately, he likes the macho aspect of it, but he believes that people join the military because they're poor, and that it's like he looks at it as a social welfare program for poor people, and since some people can get citizenship by serving in the military, he resents that fact because it lets a lot of Hispanic people get into the country and develop citizenship because they serve in the military as part of getting citizenship sooner. So that's why he's has such a low opinion of them.
They made up everything, so many different stories. They made up about Project 25. They've been told.
Nobody's made up a story about Project 25. First of all, it's Project 2025. So if you want to deny it, call it by its real name, because right now you're just denying something that doesn't exist while not denying 2025. It sounds a bit like stand back and stand by, which is, the thing where I didn't say stop, I just said stand back and stand by, right? Same thing with Project 2025. The people at Project 2025 go, he's saying Project 25. That's a wink and a nod. He knows what he's saying.
Officially, legally, in every way, that we have nothing to do with Project 25.
Officially and legally. Right. You've built a firewall between you and your camps, except for that you're going to put everybody involved in it in your fucking cabinet. Right now, we've got it stiff-armed. It's the same way with like a super PAC and a campaign. Yes, officially, legally, you've got all these walls between you and fucking, America First PAC or whatever, right? Because you legally have to. But as soon as the fucking election is over, everybody in. That's the point, dummy. The Project 2025 thing is part of the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation has a super PAC that contributes to his election. All those they pick his judges. It's just stupid.
They know it, but they bring it up anyway. They bring up every single thing that you can bring up.
I don't think everything. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things I'd like to bring up. Like when you're making one of those like instant meals and they ask you to peel back the top halfway so that it can vent out or whatever. It seems like to me that they should be one of those things where you should take the whole thing off and then like they should have like you could just lay paper towel over top of it or whatever, so you don't have to, with a hot bowl of soup, peel the rest of it off and risk splashing it on you. Like, I shouldn't bring it up.
Every one of them was false. He brought them up. But they've unleashed a deadly plague of migrant crime on our country by not doing their job. And
that guy, he's not doing his job? Well, he's right there. Tell him. Why don't you tell that guy? I don't even know if he's part of the... he's wearing a dark green shirt. I don't know necessarily that he's with them, but he could be just a civilian. So
all of that plank and all of that very expensive wall, it's also...
Oh, the plank. The plank is going to waste. That's sad. That's good plank.
Also got tremendous electronic capability inside.
John G., stop it with the poke fork holes in the top of it. It's insufficient venting. You and I know that. It's a mistake, and you still have to peel the thing back, and hot molten lava soup goes all over your hand. It's just I'm just saying.
It's got wires.
Sorry, back to plank.
For cameras and everything else that you can have. It's the Rolls Royce of walls, I can tell you.
Okay, so it's out of date and not in style anymore, and has bad wind resistance and costs far too much and is really just for show.
It's very hardened steel outside,
as opposed to that spongy marmalade like steel that you can like flick pieces off of.
7,000-pound concrete inside and
Is that a density of concrete I'm not aware of, or just how much you pour in?
rebar inside of the concrete, all different, all very hard to get through. And it's sad to see it sitting here. We have crime going on up the road. In this direction, it's as far as you can see is wall. We have no problem there, but they come in where they refuse to put it up. That was what.
It's on private land. You have to use eminent domain. It takes a bunch of lawsuits to seize the land of U.S. citizens, because you can own land right up to the border, and a bunch of people in Texas do. And for some reason, they don't want to give a big chunk of it so that the government can put a big wall through their property. I don't know why. I'm sure it has nothing to do with, a lot of them are very big plantation-like spaces, and a lot of them have interests in the farming in the area and the like, or use those workers for a lot of different things. So they kind of wink and nod. You can walk across. I'm sure it has nothing to do with
When
it.
I first realized that they want open borders, I thought nobody could be so foolish or stupid to want open borders and have.
Okay. Also, Hillary Clinton used the phrase open borders, and they've been using it ever since. And what they're talking about is people who have green cards or work permits who live in Mexico. The border is open to them to come across, work, and go back. So they can live at home in Mexico, but then they can work nearby, or a little, or come in for a few weeks during the height of the picking season and then go back home. That's what they're talking about in those terms. And back when people used to talk normally about shit, that's where that came from. Nobody wants a flat-out open border. What they're talking about is a porous border for people with work permits, so they don't have to live here. They can live in their own country and work here.
The world's population, the world's criminal population pour into our country. That's what's happening.
Yeah, but enough about the people partying at Bedminster and Mar-a-Lago. What about the people crossing the southern border?
But it shattered so many families' lives and stolen so many incredible young lives. And it's also really...
And a couple of shitty ones, I guess.
...badly hurt our black population and our Hispanic population
because it's taking... Because apparently black people only have the kind of jobs where they can be taken by crazy people who shit their pants and scream all the time and don't speak English. These are equal employment options for the jobs that black people have. I don't know why anyone would think this is racist. Please continue.
Because these people are taking their jobs. The jobs now...
The insane people, the people from insane asylums, the rapists who shit their pants and scream at the sky and don't speak a language that anybody's ever heard, those people?
Are down, way down for the black population and the Hispanic population, because we have millions of illegal aliens that are poured into our country. They've taken the jobs of African Americans and Hispanics. And that was obvious to me. Next is going to be unions. You watch. The unions are going to start going wild because those jobs are going to be taken too.
Yeah, the unions are going to be going wild.
We're honored to really be here with these incredible people, and in particular with some grieving families.
Yeah, this is where it gets gross.
And this is a group of people that I've gotten to know. They're incredible people.
Yeah, you've gotten to know them. You didn't just meet them. You've gotten to know them. You've spent time with them. Know them. You've gotten to know them. The details of their circumstance, their, names.
Lost a loved one, and thousands of others are out there, and they are grieving also, but they're not out with you and sitting in this hot sun. I will say this, that at least it gives us a good reason. We're doing something for those incredible people that we'll be talking about very shortly, because we can't let it happen to other people. We can't let what you're going through happen to others.
Jesus Christ. I don't know where he was trying to, what the fuck? Half of this sounds like he was trying to say to the press, we're out here in this hot sun and it sucks, but, we're here for a good purpose, because it seems like where he was finding himself going in this. Listen to this take. They're standing right there. The guy's holding his shirt up. He doesn't know how to react to it. Watch this
a
again.
loved one, and thousands of others are out there, and they are grieving also, but they're not out with you and sitting in this hot sun. I will say this, that
So he means there are thousands of other people that are grieving the deaths of their family members or whatever at the hands of migrant crime, but they're not here in the hot sun with you, reporters.
at least it gives us a good reason. We're doing something for those incredible people that we'll be talking about very shortly, because we can't let it happen to other people. We can't let what you're going through happen to other families. And you know what you're going through, as we discussed. No.
Yes, you know what you're going through, as we discussed, motherfucker. You know what you're going through, as we discussed. Jesus, you want to talk about disgust? Holy shit.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yes, they have. Dude, they have her fucking obituary on the t-shirt. Of course they've seen something like it. You just said thousands of other people have seen something like it. They're just not out here in the hot sun.
All for no reason whatsoever. And these are hardened criminals pouring into our country. And then they always say, Sheriff, oh, the illegal immigrants don't commit crimes like people that live here. It's so wrong. They don't report them, but it's so wrong. They make our criminals look like babies.
Also, no, they don't. Statistically, that's what they're always talking about. This is just fucking gross.
They make our criminals look like babies.
What are you talking about? Have you even seen Dahmer?
That's about the only thing good. Our criminals all of a sudden don't look so tough to us, right?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ, dude. What are you talking about? Look at this guy. Like, I'm trying to, I don't know, really trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about, because this is just shit. This is embarrassing. I'd be more embarrassed, but I'm not even sure what the fuck you're talking about.
Right? These are the roughest people, and they're the roughest people from all over the world. Their jails are being emptied from all over the world. Their criminals are being taken from their cities. And by the way, their crime rates are way down. Their crime
rates? You don't have to wait for crime there. It's like, yeah. When's your next crime? 35 seconds. You don't even have to. I thought it was going to be at least an hour. No. I'll hand you. Can I take your name? Thank you. 2 for crime? Yes. And then take this buzzer with you, and we'll let you know when your crime is ready.
Crime rates came way down.
No, they haven't.
Venezuela, all of these countries, their crime rates are down. Their prison
are way up.
Population's down. Soon.
No, their prison populations are through the fucking roof.
They won't have any prison population because 100% of it will be in our country, with the statement, if you ever come back, we will kill you. That's the statement they tell them. If you ever come back to Venezuela and other countries, we will kill you. But it's all over the world.
Yeah, again, good Lord. Just bullshit.
The Congo in Africa. Many prisoners let go from the Congo in Africa.
Really? Did they swim here? Okay. People know what's going on in Haiti. And a lot of sane people are trying to escape Haiti, and many of them have relatives in the United States. They can't get in or they can't get a visa because there's nothing functional there, so they flee to Mexico and then they make their way up here. So there's black people crossing the border that are from Haiti and trying to escape that awful, right? And they don't really have an option. But that's not scary. That's not scary enough for Trump's supporters, because they'll understand what's going on in Haiti. They'll understand that there are Haitians in the United States already. But if you go, those black people aren't from Haiti, where you know what's going on. They're from the Congo, where, as far as you know, things are awful and impoverished, but they're fine. They have no reason to flee. They're just coming here to be awful. That's what they want to think. It's because again, this is one of he keeps bringing up the Congo mainly because it's not bad enough that Hispanic people are crossing the border who want to have a job and all that stuff. A lot of people actually have very high opinions, even amongst MAGA, about how hardworking Hispanic people are and all that kind of stuff. That is the general thought. But Africans, whoa, that's what scares them.
Rough prisoners all over Europe, they come from all over, rough sections, the jails. You have to see jail populations.
I do, yeah. You can see like French criminals with a beret and a fucking thin mustache. I'm trying to find a woman who must pay the rent.
Are way down. So we've done a lot of trips to the border over the years and told a lot of stories about border victims.
And you never confronted the fact that the wall caused it?
Including the stories of the amazing angel moms who have never been appreciated. They're incredible women, what they've gone through. They're going through a similar thing. And many of them, I asked about time, but this time, because many of them, this took place a long time ago with borders and horrible people coming in. And I don't have to tell you about the crimes, but the level of viciousness of the crime was unbelievable. But they said time doesn't heal. You know, the expression time heals all wounds. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. You might as well just do yourself in, I guess, lady. And I like... seldom do you see a man with bedside manner this bad. I bet he's a lot of fun at a funeral. Jesus Christ. Enough with the crying already. It's not going to improve anything. He's still going to be in the box. What?
I spoke to some people. They say they're worse now than they were
before their family member got killed? You think?
15 years ago. And this started...
When'd your daughter die? 15 years ago. Oh. Jesus Christ. What? This parts of this, silly parts of it, will make its way into the news maybe. There might be a clip of it here or something, or his whole, like, calling her, fucking comrade Kamala, or that stuff will make it to the news. But this fucking blather, nobody except here on the greatest live stream that's ever existed, House Sparks Megaworldwide, do you get to see the full unexpurgated horseshit in its purest form. This is just hideous. It'll get worse.
It'll
get worse.
Largely during Obama. And then we stopped it. We had it stopped. And then the first day in, they just said, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. And all they had to do is let our people that we had in place, the best people. I was listening to people like Tom Homan, who is, just an incredible patriot, tough, smart, gets it, good man, but he's tough. I've been listening to all these people. They've been friends of mine for a long time. They know it better than anybody.
Then why did they stop enforcing the law? Did they tell you that you should pass that border bill?
But
by the way, the Obama administration, Obama-Biden, they expelled more people than any administration in history, even yours.
The level of criminality is unbelievable. It's
actually quite believable.
An onslaught of violence at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
I guess that's just true of everything. Hold on one second, if I may. Why don't you say, at a level no one's ever seen before? Say it again, motherfucker. Say at a level no one's ever seen before. Say it again, you dumb son of a bitch. This ain't no cupcake interview.
Onslaught of violence at a level that nobody's ever seen before.
When is that not true of fucking everything you fucking say? Does the world just in your head fucking ratchet up nonstop? It's just always getting worse. Every second of every fucking day. How bad it is, no matter how bad it is, it's gonna get worse. Like no one's ever fucking seen before. But shut the fuck up. Nobody's ever seen before. Like that. This is like no one's ever seen before. Is that why you have to talk like this to these women who've lost their family members, you dumb motherfucker? You think it's bad now, lady? You think it's bad now? How you feel about your dead relative? It's never gonna get better. You're gonna feel pain like nobody's ever felt before. You're gonna see sorrowful pictures like nobody's ever seen before. You're gonna fucking hell. I'm fine. I'm fine.
As border czar, Comrade Kamala has overseen a nation wrecking border invasion. You know, this is nation wrecking. This isn't just like, oh, we're going to fix it a little bit later.
It's nation wrecking. So we don't really have a shot. I don't, if it's a nation wrecking border invasion, real quick, at this point, they should be well within the country. Wouldn't you think? So is it really, a smart move to be right next to the border? If it's nation wrecking, this is a country of 340 million people. We have more guns than any other country in the world. I'm just saying, maybe you should be doing this in Nebraska just to be safe.
It's to a point where you can't fix it. She's
yeah. When's that?
Allowed at least 20 million people, all illegal aliens, into our country, including millions and millions of unvetted fighting age men from
also, by the way, roofing age men, construction age men, plumbing age men. I don't know, janitor, age men. Yeah.
Over 158 different countries. 150. Most people didn't realize you had that many countries, right?
You mean you? You mean you, dumb fuck? Everybody knows there's that many countries in the world, dumbass. And if you can't just say because there are some gotaways, there has to be one from every fucking country in the world, so you can use basically all of them that are reachable by boat or airplane. Fucking hell.
Just recently, Kamala let in the head of a Peruvian gang who was wanted for 23 murders. Welcome to the United States of America.
Did she come down and unlock the gate for him personally?
On her orders, Border Patrol is being forced to free tens of thousands of illegal aliens from custody week after week.
Yeah, not him, though.
Week after week. And these are very violent criminals, too.
Sorry. So these guys knew that he was wanted for murder, for multiple, and the vice president called them and said, let him out. That's your story.
These are the most violent criminals that you'll ever see. Every day brings another story about innocent Americans being tortured, raped, murdered, and
Yeah, it's a lot of times it's the same story from yesterday, though.
Massacred by illegal aliens that Kamala Harris has set free in our country. Don't hold them, they're told. Don't hold them, let them free. They'll behave. Well, he killed 20 people. Oh, but over here it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they knew he was wanted for murder, and they just let him go because he's wanted for murder. Is this on a loop? No, Bertie, he's just this repetitive.
Since Comrade Harris took over the border, there has been a 43% nationwide increase in violent crime and a 60% increase in rape. And the FBI should be ashamed of themselves when they report numbers because in order to keep the...
Also, post-pandemic, that number spiked because people obviously were getting back out in the world, and that's where victims become available again, and people like that who were let out of jail, let's say, because of COVID during your presidency, I would like to add, started offending again, and then it took a while to catch them, have trials, put them away.
Violence numbers down. They didn't report.
Also, in terms of the Comrade Kamala thing, I would like to remind everyone, if I may, everybody gather in here. I'd like to remind everyone that the first time Donald Trump ever went to Russia was during the USSR. It was not after the USSR had fallen. It was before. It was in 1987. It was the first time he went as a guest of the Kremlin itself, stayed at the special Kremlin hotel right across from the actual Kremlin on July 4th, 1987. That's right. The very first time this asshole went to Russia was on July 4th. because that's when you go to show how much you love America. When it was still the USSR, I would like to remind you.
Some of the worst cities in the country, like Chicago and others.
Chicago is fucking awesome.
What a disgrace. The FBI did that. In New York this June, an illegal alien released into our country by Kamala approached two 13-year-old children with a machete in broad daylight in front of other people, forced them into the woods, tied them together by the wrist, and raped them over and over again.
And the other people just did what? In front of a bunch of people in broad daylight, and those people just, what? They didn't want to lose their line in Starbucks?
Over and over again. Two Kamala migrants were just arrested for the rape of a 46-year-old woman in Coney Island. I know Coney Island very well. That's
where you used to do some of your raping?
Sort of started. My office was.
He's worried. I think he's worried that these guys are going to come up and take his job as a serial sexual assaulter.
Out there, Brooklyn, throwing her to the ground and raping her with a knife to her throat. One of them had previously been arrested for raping another woman, but instead of being deported, he was released into our country and told to enjoy your life.
Is that what he said? That's what they said? That's because we didn't know that he was wanted until later, until they fingerprinted him, and then he was wanted by the Mexican authorities or something like that. And we found that out after the fact because we have this thing in the country where we arrest people after they commit crimes, not before.
In Fort Wayne, Indiana, a woman who was offered a ride home by two illegal aliens was instead kidnapped, held down and raped, then driven around while the illegals discussed how they planned to kill her. They wanted to kill her. They didn't want to have a witness.
And
she miraculously escaped by throwing herself out of a rapidly moving car, was badly hurt, but she escaped, at least. Those people came from another country.
Did they? All right, hold on. Now, I think a lot of people have rightly pointed out that he does torture porn. That's what this is. He just does this. Immigrants, rape, woman, something like that. Okay. Let's see the story. Okay, here we go. This is the story he's talking about. Fort Wayne police arrest two men accused of raping same victim. These are Elder Andres Quevedo Rosales and Selvin Ronaldo Perez Munoz. Fort Wayne police have arrested two men accused of raping the same woman. A victim reported a rape on June 24th, 2023 at an undisclosed location in the city. Following the investigations, they arrested these two guys. Both men are facing preliminary charges of rape, a third level 3 felony. Authorities for both men have an immigration hold on them because they're in the country illegally. Staff and personnel from the Indiana State Police and Sexual Assault Treatment Center assisted in the investigation. They have an immigration hold on them because they're in the country illegally. So they're being held without bail because they're in the country illegally. Because once they committed a crime like that, they don't get to post bail or any of that because they're in the country illegally. That's the law. This is also a state crime. So this is Indiana, I guess, wanting to or not wanting to go after them is the idea. Is that the premise of what he's saying? Let's see. Here's, let's see. Here, this is the other story that he's talking about. I think this is one of them. Hold on. This is a Mexican illegal immigrant charged with sexually assaulting two young girls during a home invasion. This is the fascinating part. A Mexican illegal immigrant whose visa expired in 2021. So it means he got a visa during the Trump administration and had it all through then, and then it expired in 2021, is now charged with sexual assault of two young girls in Michigan. after breaking in there. He was arraigned Friday on 1 count of home invasion, 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual assault against a person under the age of 13. Officials said he is in jail with no bond and has an immigration and customs enforcement detainer placed on him. That's a hold. So he's a Mexican national living in Sturgis, came to the U.S. on a temporary work visa, officials told reporters at a press conference, but the visa expired in December of 2021, and he remained in the U.S. illegally after that time. So, but, you know, the important thing is that Trump, I guess, wants you to think that it's that guy, by the way, that guy didn't come across the border illegally. No evidence that the other 2 guys he cited came across the southern border either.
And they were very violent with an unbelievably violent background. Violence like you've never seen. In the Bronx recently, an illegal alien who Kamala set loose into the country approached a 36
Kamala set loose this person into the country.
Year-old woman while pretending to ask for directions before he wrapped his arms around her throat, pinned her down on a park bench, and raped her publicly on a park bench.
And what did the people around do? They just dancing and clapping? Is that what it is? Good Lord. By the way, this is, I would like to say, I mean, we don't need to watch any more of this because it's just awful. But let me tell you something, because this is all bullshit. This is his way of counter-programming against the DNC. This is where he is. He's making these victims of violent crime stand behind him while he blathers on in the sun with the reporters there, like 8 feet from the fucking wall. And this is how he's pushing it back against. Hold on, 1 second. Let's see. Let's see.
She guided me. Now she's guiding my own children, and I know she'll guide our country forward.
Kamala came into my life when I was 14. Famously a very easy time for a teenager. Like a lot of young people, I didn't always understand what I was feeling. But no matter what, Kamala was there for me. She was patient, caring.
Pardon me for saying this, but if I was in high school, like, and she was like the teaching assistant, I would, it'd been over. I would have just been obsessed. I'm telling you, the glasses, everything. Like, seriously, 15, 16-year-old Hal, if she was like, yeah, I'm working on my teaching degree, and so I'm like, done. Fucking done. Yeah, I got my pencil. Whoa.
Caring, and always took me seriously. She's never stopped listening to me, and she's not going to stop listening to all of us.
By the way, all of them, like, the outfit's really fucking cool. This business, I don't know, she's like the nerd fairy. I don't know what's going on there, but it's fantastic.
Kamala Harris is my godmother. To me, her advice means everything. Whether it's pursuing my passions, making an impact, or finding hope when the world doesn't feel so hopeful. She taught me that making a difference means giving your whole heart and taking action.
She's fighting for economic opportunity, LGBTQ plus equality, and reproductive freedom, because we are not going back.
She's fighting for social justice, health justice, environmental justice, and she isn't alone. We're all in this fight together.
So let's keep up the fight. Let's keep up the joy.
Okay, I got a little goosebumps just then. Like, this is awesome.
And let's elect this extraordinary woman as our next president.
Look at this giant packed house and these lovely ladies showing their support for their mom, stepmom, and stepmom and godmother and aunt, and meanwhile, just enjoy this. I just want to show you this as a here we go. Cut to and then There's a guy, he walked all the way up here with a brick. Just trying to like stealing terror from people who've had like extraordinarily bad things happen in their life. He's trying to like borrow it for I don't know, like nihilist cred, right? While this shit's happening, and this is what's happening across town.
Please welcome actor and comedian D.L. Hughley.
Oh, D.L. I wonder how many people like come up to you and go, "Why are you running against Biden?" All right, it's because when he grows his beard out, Cornel West, he could do him. Just saying, doesn't always look like him, but sometimes he really pulls it off. All right, so back to this shit for a second.
And she said he wasn't trying to rape me, he was trying to kill me.
I'm sorry. These stories are really sad and they deserve some seriousness. And let me explain something to you. Mocking this asshole copying these stories for himself is what I'm doing, not the actual stories themselves. Is him trying to deliver this in a way that benefits himself. That's what's gross.
In Michigan earlier this year, an illegal alien broke into a residence and sexually assaulted 2 young girls, doing
that was the part of, yeah.
tremendous damage to these 2 young, beautiful girls. In Virginia, a few weeks ago, a 54-year-old...
It's just moving right past it. 2 young girls, they're beautifully did a lot of damage to them. It's just, okay, so, son behind a throne, and then they go this, and then he goes... Like,
37-year-old mom, beautiful woman of 5 incredible children who adored their mother more than anything in the world. They loved their mom. Earlier this year, while Rachel was out on a run, she wants to keep herself.
These are all the stories we've heard over the course of the year or whatever. They've been collecting them.
Self in good shape, and she ends up getting killed.
Yeah. So, anyways, he goes through all these.
I would just. First of all, thank you for being here.
By the way, they're handing out water in the background because everybody's standing there. Like, hey, you should get some water. He's going to go on for a bit.
Murdering Rachel in the area where Rachel lived in a very different part of this country. It was cold-blooded murder. Patty and Michael, I would just, first of all, thank you for being here. I know it's tough, but they want to let people understand what's going on here because...
By the way, a big portion of these people did not die because of people that crossed the border. Like even the one of the Lakin dudes, they were the guy who was like hiding him or whatever had come across the border, but this dude had flown into the country.
This can't happen to other parents and sisters and brothers and husbands. So if you would, I'd love you to say a few words. Thank you.
Okay, again, I'm not going to take words about, like, it's just terrible what happens to people or whatever, and him exploiting it is just fucking gross. So, hold on. And then he goes back up, and then he introduces the next one, and then it's a parade of people, like...
It's close to 1 million people, we think.
What is with his fucking mouth? It's so gross. It's so nasty.
Close to 1 million people were flown in over the border, and she's trying to say, well, we're in favor of borders. She just started this a short while ago. She's even launched a smartphone program that gives fast pass entry to thousands of illegal immigrants, all coming very quickly. You use the smart pass and you get immediate access into our country. Can you believe this? And then...
Yes, it's a work permitting program that goes along with asylum, and you have to have a sponsor, and that's part of the Remain in Mexico part of it, because you have to go through one of these organizations, and if you do that work, then you can have a 2-year visa to temporarily be in the United States, and if you can maintain, you can continue to extend it and work or go to school or something like that, or if whatever is happening in your country, they change leadership, everything goes back to normal, you can go back home. And you're sent back home. It's so fucking stupid.
They're trying to say we believe in borders. They're flying right over our heads, right into the middle states. all over, every border, and you've heard this, every border, you look at the different states and...
He means every state is a border state, is what he's trying to say with his weird, crusty, dry mouth.
Put another way, every state is a border state now.
See, he couldn't fucking get it out the first time. Oh, God. Listen.
All over, every border, and you've heard this, every border, you look at the different states and put another way, every state is a border state now when you think about it, because they just...
Well, if you think about it, maybe you'd say it right the first time.
Just come right past here and they get taken to other states that never even thought of a problem like this.
This is so stupid.
And those are not happy campers.
No, they aren't, especially the ones that are concerned about hanky-panky.
According to a new DHS report, Kamala Harris also lost more than 300,000 migrant children that she allowed to be trafficked into our country. These children are gone.
You mean sent home?
Many of them are dead.
Jesus Christ. How many? How many of the 300,000 corpses have you seen?
And nobody does anything about it.
Well, it's a little hard because they only exist in your fucking head. 300,000, you lunatic?
300,000 children are missing. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if that were a Trump administration, be the biggest story in history?
Also, by the way, in case you want to know where they get that number, when children are brought in and have over the last few years, when they're brought in and they're 17 years old, they are tracked, specifically, Child Protective Services keeps track of them. And then when they turn 18, they no longer track them. It's a different part of the system. So Child Protective Services doesn't finish up with them because they turn 18. They're no longer children. That's where that number comes from. It's so fucking gross.
Nobody even talks about it, just like
I just did. See how easy it is? You know why nobody talks about it? Because every sensible person goes, what? And then they look it up and then they go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
They don't talk about the fact that Joe Biden got $27 million from different countries.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not him personally. Everybody around him with any kind of periphery, and none of it ended up in his pocket because that's how mobs work. The Godfather always gets the smallest cut.
And they don't talk about that, him and his family.
Did they talk about the $10 million you got from Egypt?
Just came out from Congress.
Or the $17 million you got from China, both when you were actually president in the United States? Yep.
Nobody talks about it. I do have some.
You know why? Because they're so busy thinking about all the money that Harris is. Oh, right. Yeah, now it's $27 million. And all that money that Walz has got in the stock market. Oh, wait. Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
Some good news, though, for the people standing behind me in particular, and maybe for some of the press that wants to hear good things. The Supreme Court just ruled that you're not allowed to have illegal aliens vote. Just came out just before I walked up. So illegal aliens are officially not allowed to vote in our country.
Yeah, only citizens can vote. That's always been the law.
And I give great credit to the Supreme Court. They have great courage in doing.
Why? Why? That's about local elections. And it's not illegal aliens, as it were. It's permanent residents don't have the right to vote in local elections in one state.
Doing what they're doing. It's not easy, but that was one that everybody was hoping for. You know, a vast
You're so weird.
majority of people agree with that. It's a very small amount of people that don't. Who would want that?
Oh, you mean like the assault weapons ban?
So thank you very much. And she's really provided Harris deportation immunity to the vast majority of criminal aliens living inside the United States. They've got immunity. They really have immunity.
No, they don't.
And importing MS-13 directly into our cities. MS-13 is the most vicious gang we feel.
No, they aren't. They've certainly benefited from him being their PR agent, but you guys are full of shit.
If I asked the sheriffs behind me, I think probably considered the most vicious gangs in the world. Wouldn't you say, Brandon? It's
No, they wouldn't.
There's never.
They'd say the cartels.
Seen anything.
They don't deal with MS-13. MS-13A is an American gang that extended down into South America, And they deal with the cartels in Mexico all the time, who, by the way, for fuck's sake, are at odds with MS-13. A lot of the people you're talking about that they chop up and all that kind of stuff are people who are selling drugs in their territory from other gangs.
Like it. It's not even believable. I won't tell you about it. It's not even believable.
Well, it's not believable because you're talking out of your asshole.
As the DA of San Francisco, Kamala Harris was the godmother of deadly sanctuary cities. She was considered the godmother.
Yeah, I remember that. You guys remember that? I remember that.
All they're doing is protecting criminals, which set loose.
No, they're not.
Illegal alien criminals rather than hand them over to ICE, who are doing an incredible job.
No. Criminal suspects. Once they were actually, once they were actually convicted, off they go. As a matter of fact, it saves the state some money once they've been actually committed, but they're not gonna, or convicted rather, but they're not gonna do this. Now let's jump ahead. DL still talking? Is this it? Oh no, he's still here. Hold on.
That horrific day with me. 20 beautiful first grade children and 6 of my beautiful colleagues were killed. They should still be here.
This teachers unify to end gun violence. He's talking about Sandy Hook. By the way, death count on this stuff way higher than even the numbers Trump is talking about. If you're talking about a source of danger, this is the acute one. This would be the emergency versus the secondary problem, which is a problem. You got to deal with it, but there's not a single save from it.
It's 10:30 a.m. at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The school is recognizing my 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, for receiving all A's. She receives a Good Citizen Award, and we pose for photos. She wears a St. Mary's sweatshirt and a smile that lights up the room. 30 minutes later, a gunman murders her, 18 classmates, and 2 teachers. We are taken to a private room where police tell us she isn't coming home. Uvalde is national news. Parents everywhere reach for their children. I reach out for the daughter I will never hold again.
My niece, Sandy Patrice, was 22. She drove to Myrtle Beach for sun and fun and motorcycle parades. Hours later, my phone rang. Shooting on the beach. No one can find Sandy. I stayed calm. You see, my mother, Patricia Ann, had been shot and killed by an abusive partner. I was calm then too. I got to handling business. I called relatives, the police, hospitals, and I kept calling, voice steady, heartbeat pulsing. Then I was connected to the coroner. 10 years of waiting, and Sandy's murder is still unsolved. I'll keep calling, and I'll keep fighting.
I was in high school when my classmate got shot. It changed my story. Instead of worrying about taking a test, I started worrying about living to take another test. They say schools are for learning, and I did learn a lot that day. I learned how to run, how to hide and drop, that what happens in the news can happen to me. But I learned something else too. That we can write and must write a new story if we choose to.
Our are stories of loss. But make no mistake, our losses do not weaken us. They strengthen our resolve. We will secure safer futures that we all deserve. We will organize. We will advocate. We will run for office. And we will join with Americans from small towns and big cities to keep our communities safe. And we will elect leaders like Kamala Harris, who won't just empathize, but will act.
Oof. Aw.
Please welcome former Arizona Representative Gabby Giffords.
Oh, man. They're yelling, not one more.
Hello, fellow Americans! I'm Gabby Giffords. I was born in the great state of Arizona! I was born with grit. I grew up racing motorcycles, mucking stalls, and exploring the beautiful desert. I fell for an astronaut. For 5 years, I served in Congress from a swing district. Everybody called me a rising star. Then on January 8th, 2011, a man tried to assassinate me. He shot 19 people. He killed 6. Terrible, terrible day. I almost died, but I fought for my life and I survived. I learned to walk again, one step at a time. I learned to talk again, one word at a time. So many people helped me as I worked hard to recover, including a decent man for Delaware who always checked in. He still does. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything. Joe is a great president. My friend Kamala will be a great president. She is tough. She has grit. Kamala can beat the gun lobby. She can fight gun trafficking. Kamala stood up to Wall Street and the drug company. She will protect abortion access. She will defend our freedom. She saved lives. join me in voting for Kamala Harris. Bravo! Thank you. Woo!
Kiddo. Damn. So, wait, somebody actually said, don't cry, Hal. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to cry. It's, it's exactly why I get so pissed at this asshole with this performative bullshit that he's doing when he does not care. I'm going to let you guys go so you can go watch the rest of the DNC, and I know you're going to want to watch the speeches and all that kind of stuff, and I appreciate you guys coming by. But that's how you should feel. I don't think people are aware of what those folks have gone through and aware of what Gabby goes through, but seeing her try to speak and seeing her walk and managing to do it and just the effort that goes into everything. I don't know that many people need reminders on the regular that a lot of us wake up blessed every day just to have our faculties about us. And that there are people, with disabilities and people who care for people with disabilities that were born that way or afflicted with something that gave them that. And then certainly people who were injured or harmed in some horrible way, or people who've gone through through such extraordinary trauma, and they still manage to get up and move about their lives being joyful like she is. And it can almost hide how much work it took, And it's why it's important to me to be funny. Because one of the best things that happens when you're a comedian or you're an actor or you're in entertainment at all or you write a song or something like that is that somebody walks up to you and they say, I was in the hospital with my dad, or my sister got sick and we would sit together when she was healing, or my, remember my family passed in the time we hung out. You made us laugh. That's why I don't get nervous on stage, I got to tell you. People ask me all the time, like, how do you beat the nerves on? I don't get nerves because I'm not there for me. So glad to be there for you. I swear. I don't, it's why other comedians don't particularly like hanging out with me, because I don't commiserate about it. I don't believe in tough crowds or any of that stuff, I'll do what I can. Always do what you can. Because I believe when their spirits are lifted, they got more of their personal capacity to live their life and do their things and get through stuff. And when the real tough shit shows up, if you've got a song in your heart, or you know, there was a joke that was keeping you, you know, up, yes, the day before, you'll have a little more strength than maybe you might have otherwise. That's it. That's what it's for. It's what all entertainment is for. And it's just, when I see people trying to like farm pain for their own self-interest, while other people are trying to use their pain to get people to recognize a way they could fix a system or a circumstance where other people don't ever have to experience that. Like, it's such a huge stark difference between the two, that it just pisses me off. And that's why I do the show. Anyways, sorry, I just got off on a little bit of a side story, but so to the person who said don't cry, Hal, I appreciate you trying to you know, cheer me up or be sweet, but I'm never not going to. Yeah. And I'm glad that I have a chat room full of people on the regular that understand that. So, love you guys. No show tomorrow in the morning. There may be a late show depending on when I can get in and whether I've got stuff to do when I arrive. I shouldn't even speak tomorrow because of my throat, and I got to sing on Saturday, but I might just because I miss you guys. But until then, I will, yeah. Anyways, that's it. See you later.